Welcome to Ink and Fitness. For those that are new to my channel, my name is Anthony. I am someone who went from skinny to fit, and these videos are purely educational, so this way you guys can go ahead and take what you're learning, be consistent with it, and get your own results inside of the gym if you are also someone who's on skinny side or who's just, you're just someone who's new to the gym altogether. Now, for those that are frequent viewers of my channel, of my videos, first of all, thank you so much. And second of all, you might notice that this format for this particular video is a little bit different than the other ones, as you're probably used to seeing the slideshow and my circular head floating around somewhere on the screen. So just wanted to try something a little bit different for today, um, because there's nothing in particular that I want to speak about. I just kind of want to talk about mainly just kind of the main things you should be looking out for in fitness and really anything else that comes to mind. So this is really me just speaking my thoughts about fitness and health, especially for those of you who are beginners and who are looking to do things the right way. Just me sharing some tips and advice with you all that can definitely help you out. So this way you're not steered off in the wrong direction, as there's a lot of information out there nowadays that can be quite confusing to say the least. So I want to make sure that I give you guys the justice that you deserve, and feed you information that it's actually very valuable, very relevant as well for hypertrophy, for maximizing muscle growth, as well as information that does not have you feeling burnt out or feel like this whole fitness thing is a whole sham and that you're never going to lose weight or that you're never going to build muscle, whatever it is, right? Now, how I like to separate fitness, or rather yet, how I like to focus when it comes to fitness is I like to focus on three different areas when it comes to fitness and health. And these three different areas that I will explain to you guys are the only three areas that you should be focusing on when it comes to your fitness and health journey. Everything else doesn't matter. Everything else does not drive the results that you're looking to get. So only focus on these three different areas. And much like in anything in life, right? Much like in any different area of life, there are always certain things that drive the most results. In relationships, if you're looking to build a very meaningful, lasting relationship that's beautiful and healthy, then you're going to need to communicate. You need to have trust. I'm trying to think of what else you need in a good, healthy relationship. Communication is definitely number one. Trust is definitely number two. Boundaries is number three. Boundaries is very important. I mean, but you guys get the point that I'm trying to say here, right? I'm not going to spend my whole time here in this video just talking about relationship and what you need to do to have a healthy relationship. But in relationships, you need communication, trust, boundaries, respect. In business, you need sales, marketing, client fulfillment. And in fitness, you need training, nutrition, and rest and recovery. So those are the three different areas of fitness, or the three pillars of fitness, much like how I like to call it, that you should be focusing on because those are the only areas that drive results. Those are the only areas that drive results. Nothing else matters. Now, sure, there might be some small things here and there, like maybe some supplements or maybe some certain stretches that you should be doing, post-workout recovery, these different kind of things, which is all totally fine. But in the grand scheme of things, the three pillars of fitness that will drive results for you is training, nutrition, rest and recovery. So to kind of break down each of those areas for you, let's start with training. As far as training goes, you should be training either till failure or close to failure. If you're someone who is new to the gym, then I recommend you just train close to failure because you're not going to be used to training till failure just yet. And if you train till failure right off the get-go, um, it's not going to be the most fun thing for you to start off right off the bat, especially if you're just new to this whole fitness thing. And you're eventually going to feel a little bit burnt out, and you just want to stop your fitness journey altogether. This is otherwise known as going 0 to 100 right off the bat, which I'm sure you guys have maybe heard that term in, other aspects of life. But in general, you don't want to go 0 to 100, right? In anything in life, especially when it comes to building new habits like going to the gym. You want to start off small and then work your way up. So again, if you're someone who is a beginner in the gym, I highly recommend and I highly suggest you just start off by training close to failure. So if you're wanting to work out 5 times per week, start off by working twice per week for 30 minutes and do one set of each exercise and take each of those sets within each of those exercises close to failure. And then you want to do that for a few weeks until you can finally add on an extra day. So then you're going to be going to the gym 3 times per week, same amount of time, 30 minutes, same amount of sets, and same amount of exertion, same amount of effort. One set for each exercise close to failure. And then you just want to repeat that cycle until you reach going to the gym 5 times per week, which is the goal that you wanted to achieve for 30 to an hour per training session, because you realistically do not need anything more than an hour per training session if you are training and exerting yourself with, you know, high intensity. Now, all that to say, right, if you guys are looking for a really good formula, if you're maybe someone who has been going to the gym for a little bit and you're just looking for a nice, uh, easy to follow formula when it comes to training, so that way you know what you're doing, then I would follow this formula. 2 sets, 6 to 8 reps. There we go. Messed up my fingers. 6 to 8 reps is the rep range you want to shoot for. Train with high intensity, so again, either till failure or close to failure. Take rest times of 3 to 5 minutes, and you can train anywhere between 2 to 5 times per week. Or if you want to train 6 times per week, go for it. But I find that when you train in this style of way, high intensity, you're gonna probably want to settle for training 4 to 5 times per week, as that's kind of the sweet spot for you. Not to say that training 2 to 3 times per week is not going to get you good results. It'll give you good results. But if you're looking to train a little bit more, then you're able to do so that way you can split apart, certain body parts or certain muscle groups, excuse me, across the week in a very efficient, um, systematic way, right? For lack of a better word or lack of a better term. You want to hit each muscle group 2 to 3 times per week, as the higher frequency, the better for hypertrophy. I personally train each muscle group twice per week, as that's what works for me and feels good for me and my body. And a bare minimum for rest time, or for rest days, excuse me, kind of what I just explained, 2 days, right? 2 days is perfect. Gives you more than enough time to rest, get your body recovered, recharged, so that we can hit the workouts that you have for the next coming week and just as hard as you hit this current week's workouts. Now, in terms of why you should be training that way, it is just very hypertrophic. When you train in that way, when you train in that style of either close to failure or till failure, you're literally exerting each muscle, right, to the point of pure exhaustion where they can't give anything more, right? The tension is so insane, so tense, so much that you're quite literally breaking down the muscle to the point where they're forced to grow, right? If you're someone who's looking to force muscle growth, then I recommend training in this way because it really does force growth. I have personally made the most progress in the gym in these past 2 to 3 years by training this way than I have the first 3 years inside of my training journey because I was doing the wrong things. Final point, form is everything, your technique is everything. I recommend following the 3-1-explode counting scheme. The 3 in that counting scheme stands for 3 seconds, which is the amount of time that you want to hold the negative portion of the movement or control. Better, it would be much better said actually. So you want to control the down portion, the negative part, the eccentric part of the exercise movement for 3 seconds. The 1 in the 3-1-explode counting scheme stands for 1 second, which means once you're all the way to the fully locked out position of that exercise movement, so the stretch portion, so for example, the bicep curl would be, this part right here where you're fully locked out, and a squat, it'd be the box when you're inside the box, the squat movement, so all the way at the bottom when your ass is on the grass. Leg extensions, it's when your legs are fully all the way down and you feel a nice good stretch on those quads. So you want to hold those positions on those exercises for 1 second, and then the explode part of the counting scheme, stands for explode. You want to explode on the way back up of the exercise movement and really get a good squeeze on that contraction. You don't want to hold it or anything like that. You just want to quickly go up, feel that squeeze, and then just repeat the same count scheme over again. You'll find when you train in that way for 2 sets, 6 to 8 reps, you control the form, you pick a moderate weight that's heavy enough for you to do, but not light enough where you can do more than 8 reps. You're going to see some really good progress and some good results. And just the last point to mention is progressive overload. Progressive overload, you can do it in 3 different ways: with weight, with reps, with sets. Most popular way is with weight, where you gradually increase the weight of each exercise movement once you're able to complete the given rep and set scheme successfully with good form for that given exercise. So for example, let's take a bicep curl. You're doing 2 sets, 6 to 8 reps, like I mentioned, with let's say 25 pounds, because that's a moderately heavy weight for you. You do the 25 pounds for bicep curls for both sets. You reach the top of the rep range. So the top of the rep range for the rep range of 6 to 8 reps is 8 reps. So you reach 8 reps for both sets with good technique. You exert yourself. So that means you can increase the weight gradually. And since we're doing dumbbells on these bicep curls, each dumbbell goes up by 5 pounds. We increase the weight by 5 pounds. So next week, you'll see yourself doing 2 sets, 6 to 8 reps for bicep curls, but with 30 pounds this time. And you just want to repeat the same process of doing those 2 sets, 6 to 8 reps, week by week on bicep curls for 30 pounds until you finally reach the top of the rep range for both of those sets for that exercise movement successfully with really good form. And then you can go ahead and increase the weight once more, and then you'll be doing 35 pounds. So that's progressive overload in a nutshell. And if you're asking, what about, if I'm doing, bench press, incline press, whatever, any barbell type of movement, how do I increase the weight gradually? Is it by 5 pounds, by 10 pounds? Because there's, these different increments that we can go up by on the bar, right? And what I personally recommend is going up in weight by 2.5 to 5 pounds, or excuse me, 5 to 10 pounds, excuse me, um, when it comes to doing any bar related movement. So, you know how most gyms have those 2.5 pound plates? Maybe you put 2 of them on each side of the bar, that equates to 5 pounds. If, of course, a lot of gyms have the 5 pound plates. If you're able to do um, 10 pounds of an increased weight for whatever exercise movement that you're doing, then go ahead and pop on 5 pounds on each side of the plate. So that way, you're progressively overloaded with 10 pounds now. So I hope that makes sense. That briefly covers training. Now let's move on to nutrition. I will say one thing. When it comes to nutrition, regardless if you're cutting or bulking, you will find that you will have to increase or decrease the amount of calories that you're eating from your maintenance by either 3 to 500 or not pounds, sorry, 3 to 500 calories. So you're going to be eating 3 to 500 calories above or below your maintenance, depending if you're cutting or bulking. If you're bulking, then you're eating 3 to 500 above your maintenance calories. And if you're cutting, you're eating 3 to 500 calories below your maintenance. You might be asking, what is your maintenance calories? What does that even mean? And in a nutshell, eating in your maintenance calories is essentially the amount of calories that you eat to maintain your current weight, given your current activity level. So, the way to find your maintenance calories, if you are also curious on doing so, and I would recommend you do so if you are someone who's looking to cut or bulk, is going to Google and typing in macro calculator, and literally the first link that you see, as soon as you hit the enter button to initiate the search, that first link will direct you to a website where you're going to see an online calculator that's going to do all the calculations for you when it comes to finding your macros and your calories. Now, there's going to be some slight nuances inside that calculator in terms of the results that it gives you. So with that, me saying that, it's really just a rough estimation of what you should be eating. But a rough estimation is better than nothing, because regardless if you do it the calculator way online, or you do it manually, right, through paper and pen, doing some simple math, because you can also do it in that way. Both paths are just a rough estimation of what you should be eating. To really find out if what you're eating is correct, that's when you have to weigh yourself once per week to see if you either increase in weight, decrease in weight, or you stay the same in weight. And depending if you're bulking or cutting, if you're losing weight when you should be gaining weight, then that means you need to eat more calories. If you're gaining weight when you should be losing weight, you need to eat a little bit less calories. So that's when you figure out, in a nutshell, or better yet, let me rephrase that actually, forget what I just said the past few words. That's how you find out if the current calories that you're eating is accurate to your fitness goals. So, all that to say, just some kind of pointers there, because I know I just mentioned a lot right there. I always recommend eating 1 gram protein per pound of body weight. So the macro calculator is going to give you something that's under your, your, your essentially what I'm saying, right? Eating 1 gram per pound of body weight that you weigh in terms of grams of protein. I am a believer in eating over your protein goals rather than under, right? Because um, essentially, studies have shown that if you eat anywhere between zero point 0.5 to 0.7 or zero point 0.8, if I remember correctly, grams of protein per pound of body weight that you weigh, it's perfect. It's a good sweet spot. You're going to gain muscle, and essentially, you're not going to be eating way over your protein goal. Because if you eat over that, then it's not going to add any extra benefits. It's not going to add on any extra muscle or anything like that, right? If anything, you're just going to piss it out or poop it out. I personally like to eat 1 gram per pound of body weight when it comes to protein, just because I would rather eat over than under my protein goals. Um, so if you're someone who is kind of like, should I, what should I do in terms of protein? You can go ahead and follow the science. The science is super accurate. I love everything when it comes to science and the fitness and health community. Or you can just, go ahead if you want to eat over your protein. If you're kind of the same mindset as me, you'd rather eat over, then go ahead and just eat 1 gram per pound of protein per pound of body weight that you weigh. And if you're someone who can't do the math, or, you don't know how to do the math, I'll just show you here real quick right now how to do it. If you weigh 160 pounds, for example, you just do 160 times, let's say, 0 0.7, since we're going off of that range, the science-based range. We just multiply 160 by 0.7, and you'll get 112 grams of protein that you should be eating every single day to meet your protein goals. And obviously, if you're eating 1 gram per pound of body weight, that's just 160 times 1, which equals 160 grams of protein per pound of body weight that you weigh. Or excuse me, not per pound of, you should not be eating 160 grams worth of protein per pound of body weight that you weigh. It just equates to 160 grams of protein that you should be eating on a day-to-day basis to meet that specific protein goal. So that covers that as well. I hope you guys are taking notes, because again, no slideshow for today for my subscribers who are used to the slideshow. So pause the video if you need, go back if you need to, just listen to what I'm saying again. Now, in terms of plateaus, because whenever you are cutting or bulking, you will hit plateaus throughout your bulking or cutting phases. And if you're asking, what's a good timeline for a bulking or cutting phase? How long should a good bulking or cutting phase last for? And it really does depend on your personal goal. Some people, they like to cut very slowly, so that way they don't burn out quickly or anything like that. So sometimes their cuts can take 6 months or maybe a little bit more, depending on how much body fat they have, or how much weight that they're carrying, or if they just want to take things slow in general. If you're bulking, it can be the same deal. It just depends on how much muscle or how much weight that you want to gain, right? If you want to do, if you want to go longer for the bulk, you can, go up towards 6, 12, even up to 24 months, 2 years for bulking, right? Some people do that. The most that I've ever done is a full year, and that in itself was challenging, but it was definitely worth it. So it just depends. But on average, a good bulking or cutting phase can last anywhere between 3 to 4 months, so 12 to 16 weeks. 4 months is better because it gives you that extra month to, add on or lose a little bit extra weight depending on your goal. Now, as I was mentioning, let's just take, for example, the average, right? Those 3 to 4 months. Throughout those 3 to 4 months, you will find yourself hitting plateaus, not many, many times, but a few times throughout your bulking phase, a few times throughout those 3 to 4 months. And that's why it's so important to weigh yourself once per week when you are in a bulking or cutting phase, just so that way you can see if you're making progress or if you're just staying the same in weight, or henceforth if you're plateauing. And whenever you do reach a plateau, that is when, depending on your goal, keep in mind, you will either need to eat 3 to 500 calories more on top of what you're already eating, or you need to eat 3 to 500 calories less on top of what you're already eating. So you will have to do that a few different times if you want to gain weight or lose weight, right? So keep that in mind as well. As far as foods goes, you do not want to eliminate your favorite foods. If you have like a favorite fast food, don't eliminate it. It doesn't matter if you're bulking or cutting, don't eliminate it. You want to find foods that you actually enjoy, right? Find the time to cook these foods. Look up recipes online. Make your foods tasty. If you're someone who's not competing on a bodybuilding show or someone who's not aiming to be the next Mr. Olympia, you shouldn't just be eating chicken, broccoli, and rice every single day. I'd even argue you shouldn't even be eating in that way if you are competing for a show. It just makes the journey, it makes the path, it makes the fitness journey, whatever you want to call it, very unenjoyable. It makes it not pleasant, and that's where you find people steering off on the wrong direction in their fitness journey or just giving up altogether, right? They go back to their old habits and they just give up. So you don't have to suffer in that way to meet your fitness goals, regardless if you're cutting or bulking. You can look up tasty, low calorie meals online, or you can even look up tasty, high calorie meals online. It doesn't matter. And as far as fast foods goes, you can have your favorite fast food once or twice per week. It doesn't matter, so long as you're meeting your calorie goals and your macro goals for the day. You don't want to go way over them, because if you do, then it's just going to nip you in the butt. I'd argue if you go one day over it for 1 to 2 days, it's fine. It's not anything that's going to set you back. But if you go over it consistently for 4 or 5 days, then yeah, that's something that's going to set you back. So you don't have to make the sacrifices of your favorite foods to achieve the goals that you want or achieve the body goals that you need or want, excuse me. Don't get that confused, especially if you are not someone who's trying to compete or who's trying to be the next Mr. Olympia. Don't worry about that. Now, final points as far as nutrition goes, you just want to make sure you get your veggies in as well. Fiber, right? You need that stuff to make sure that you're shitting, right? You want to make sure that your bowel movements are good, especially if you are cut or are bulking, sorry. If you are someone who's bulking, then you want to make sure that your fiber's up as well, just so that way you can actually go to the bathroom, make space for your next meals, and not totally have to force feed or suffer in that way, right? I'd argue through eating 3 to 500 calories above your maintenance, if you are bulking, you're not going to be you're not going to have to force feed as much just because you are gradually increasing the calories and you're not going dirty bulking mode. Because when you do that, you're eating thousands of calories above your maintenance, and then yeah, when you're in that kind of situation, you'll have to force feed. Trying to think of what else to mention as far as nutrition goes. Supplementation, you don't need most supplements out there. The only two that I ever trust that are backed by science and that I will personally ever buy is creatine monohydrate and protein powder. Just because protein powder helps you meet your protein goals if you're someone who struggles with that, like I do at times. And creatine monohydrate is just really good for performance, and also adds on a little bit of muscle. Nothing crazy. You're not going to look like sebum through taking creatine monohydrate, but it is really good for adding just a little bit extra muscle, right, in the grand scheme of things. Good for energy as well, good for muscle recovery. So really good if you are someone who trains frequently. You don't need those supplements though. This is not to say that you need it. You definitely don't need them. But if you are someone who has that budget, who has the funds for it, go ahead and buy it, right? It's not going to make or break your physique, but if it does help you out, then go for it. Now, as far as rest and recovery goes, this section is just very, very simple. You want to get 7 hours plus worth of sleep per night, because sleeping is where the magic happens for muscle growth. That's where your muscles start to recover, to repair itself, repair the damage that you've done to it, and also most importantly, just recharge your own batteries so that way you can carry the same intensity that you did for today's workout for tomorrow's workout. Honestly, and that's really everything that you need to focus on when it comes to recovery. I know it sounds as simple as that, but you don't need to do these ice baths, these red light therapy lights, or whatever other bullshit someone else is feeding you. Not to say those things don't work, but as far as getting results or making the difference when it comes to hitting your fitness goals, it's not going to make a big difference or any difference at all, I'd argue. If you are someone who struggles with sleep, though, look into getting some sleeping supplements, melatonin, sleepy time tea, CBD. If you're someone who's over 21, THC. If you want to explore that realm, anything that really just helps you sleep. So that way you can get the sleep that you need to recover in the way that you should be recovering. So this way you can keep making progress inside of the gym. Now, try to see if I'm forgetting anything here. I really honestly feel like I covered most things. These are some of the things that I wish I would have known back then when I first started my fitness journey. Hell, these are really the things, all the things that I wish I would have known at the beginning of my fitness journey that would have made me so much more progress than where I'm at right now, given, my current place in my fitness journey. Um, The most important thing, though, if I had to add like a bonus tip, is you want to make sure you're being consistent with all three areas or three pillars of fitness. You just can't half-ass, or excuse me, you just can't go balls to the walls in the training sessions and not, meet your calorie and macro goals and sleep like shit, because that's going to give you minimal results. You will see results, but it's not maximizing your results. And I know most of you guys who are here watching these videos are wanting to maximize your results inside of the gym. So you need to be consistent, number one. And number two, you need to be consistent with all three pillars of fitness, not just one or two areas, but all three areas of fitness, as that is what's going to help you progress, get you the results that you want to see, and most importantly, just maximizing your muscle growth. So be consistent. Don't just watch this video, take a few things, go balls to the walls in one area out of the three pillars of fitness, come back to this video and just, start typing in the comments like, this is bullshit, like you're full of shit. I've done what you've said and I'm seeing no results. It's a no-brainer why you're not seeing any results because you're not being consistent and you're not being consistent with all three areas of fitness, all three pillars of fitness. So be consistent with all three pillars for a prolonged period of time, 3 to 4 months, right? Bulking or cutting, depending on what your goal is, and I promise you will see results. If you're looking for great results, incredible results, then do this fitness thing for years on end, right? I'm not saying you have to bulk or cut every single time or have a cutting or bulking phase for months on end. You can have periods where you just eat into maintenance and still train, right? That's the beauty of this fitness thing. It's a journey. It's not a marathon where you sprint all the way to the finish line and then, you get your physique, right? The most important thing is that when it comes to the physique that you want to build, number one is realizing that it's going to take a lot of time, right? Don't listen to those gearheads out there that say that you can get your results, the results that you want to see inside your fitness journey in, a few months' time or whatever it is. If you want to look like this Greek guy, you can do it in a few months' time by doing their training program or their meal plans or their supplementation. Like, no, most of those guys out there are using gear and are not honest about it. And those that are not honest about it are promoting these different things and justify it because they say that it gave them the results that they see now, that their viewers see on their phones, right? It's responsible for giving them the physique that they have. But in reality, the reason they have the physique that they have is because they're on steroids, CRT, SARMs, PEDs, whatever it is, right? And not that I have any issues against people who do those kind of things, but I do have issues against the people who lie about using those, performance enhancing drugs and then they start peddling whatever they're peddling. And that's what makes people super discouraged. They see this incredible physique online, but they don't know that that person is on fucking a cocktail of drugs that helps them look the way that they do. So realize that your fitness journey is just that, a journey. It's going to take time to get the physique that you want to see, that you desire, right? You'll see results, right, in a few months' time, but is it going to be results where you're going to look like a Greek god? Realistically, no. That in itself will take time. It will take years. So, all that to say, you don't need to do constant bulking or cutting phases for years on end. You can have times where you just eat at your maintenance and just chill out there and train. right? Until you're ready for the next bulking or cutting phase, whatever it is. And the most important thing is that you just want to stay on this journey. Make it part of your life. You don't want to make it your whole life, especially if you're not competing. So I hope these tips helped you guys out. I know these are the tips, as I mentioned already, that I wish I would have heard back then because it would have helped me out tremendously. So I know it'll help you guys out. So please, I hope you took some notes. Watch this video back if you need to. I know it's a little bit of a lengthier one, but it is worth it just because I know I added a ton of value here for you all for today. If there's any questions, just leave it down in the comment section below. And for the 54 beautiful subscribers that I have, thank you for supporting my channel. Just so you guys know, if you end up watching this video all the way to the end, I will be not taking a little bit of a break from making these videos, but you won't see my videos very frequently, as I'm sure you've seen in the past week that I haven't been uploading every single day, or almost every single day, because Sundays and Saturdays sometimes I don't post. Um, Recently had some good life changes, some really good life changes that require my attention. So I'm going to be focusing my energy onto those things. And when I have the time, or if I make the time for this, right, making videos, helping you guys out, then I will, pop out another video. But I don't know if it's going to be in the next week, the next month, or the next 2 months. It's whenever I decide to make time for it, right? So um, just a little heads up for my subscribers there. I do appreciate the support that you all have been giving me. It's honestly, I know 54 is nothing like a big number like Mr. Beast, who has millions and millions and millions of subscribers, right? But um, just to know that there's 54 people that like my stuff, that subscribe to my stuff, that enjoys my content, it really does mean a lot. So from my heart, thank you so much. And thank you in advance for your patience for the next videos that will come out. But as I said, these different life changes that are positive, nothing bad, do require my attention. So I'm going to give it the attention that it does deserve. So this will be kind of in the back seat for the time being, at least, right? Until we'll see how things goes. But who knows? Maybe when I do pop back every now and then, or whenever I do decide to pop back, because I don't know when I will be making these videos. Again, I could pop out one next week, next month, right? 2 months, 3 months, who knows, right? But the next time you guys see me, maybe it'll be a different format, maybe not. But I do hope that you guys go back to my previous pieces of content because I have around almost 80 videos at this point. So for any information that you guys are looking for to succeed inside of your fitness journey, I implore you to um, look back through my videos because honestly, in my opinion, you will find all the information that you will need just by watching my previous videos if you're looking to have a successful bulk or cut, right? Specifically bulking, just because I mean more. Uh, my videos are more steered towards skinny individuals or beginners who are new to the gym who are looking to gain muscle. So take a look back at some of the previous videos I made. I know it will definitely help you out. Again, thank you for the support and the continued support. And until the next one, guys, I will see you all very soon, right? No matter how long the time may be, but I will be seeing you guys soon, regardless. And once more, thank you for the support. If you guys are interested in one-to-one coaching, the link for that will be down below. And see you guys in the next one. Peace.